What's up, guys? I kind of hinted that I would be back with this, but as I was going through and editing and thinking through all the things I actually really wanted to say about Bond, here's a part 2 where I'm going to dive into a little bit of the characters, because there's a number of like really solid actors that were in No Time to Die that I didn't actually fully get to talk about. I mean, I mentioned Rami Malek. Obviously, Daniel Craig's been doing this since like I think '06. We have touched on their performances and how this was a solid ending to Daniel Craig's version of Bond. But as a friendly reminder, I'm not responsible for any spoilers that are said in this video, because you are aware now that there will be spoilers in this video. So I will say, for the small amount of time that Ana de Armas was on screen, I went and saw this movie with my family, and my younger brother and I saw Knives Out together in theaters. And so Ana de Armas was in Knives Out with Daniel Craig, and we were just kind of waiting for her to tell a lie and throw up. We were just waiting for it, but you know, obviously it didn't happen. If it would have happened, then that would have been something that would have been all over the place, which would have then connected the universes of Bond and Blanc. But it would have been a nice connection. I mean, she was very, like, Ana de Armas was very quirky and fun, and I loved her character. She had very brief training before thrown into the mix. Let's talk a little bit about Lashana Lynch. Her character's name is Naomi, and she is the new 007. She could potentially be our new focus. Kind of briefly talked about it in my last video on No Time to Die. She could very well be the new focus, with her being, quote, the new 007, which she then returns later in the movie, which is why I think it is open to, could go either way. Of they could just bring in a new Bond and have him, quote, regenerate and do it again, as the Brits do. It could also be, they decide to give it back to her because Bond has technically been exploded. I kind of felt like it was hard to tell if she was trying to make a point, but it felt really weird. You would have thought, knowing the reputation of Bond and the reputation that stands within that 007 number, you would have thought maybe there would have been a level of respect with a past 007. If they truly do just reuse numbers, which, I mean, makes sense, because there is a reason why it's a 00 before the number. There's a whole thing behind that, which comes straight from Ian Fleming's books. So it just, I don't know, it feels like maybe there would have been a level of respect in between, but maybe I'm wrong, and maybe my perspective is wrong. I don't know. I felt like she was a little too protective of the number, which then with the line later of, oh, it's just a number, kind of her being like, it's really not that big a deal. You obviously have this number before me. You've sat in this seat before me. You understand. But I don't know. This is where I'm not fully sure if I would like to see more of this character. I think Lashana Lynch played the character well. Do not get me wrong on that whatsoever. I'm just not sure if I want to see more of her. Like more of the character of Naomi. It didn't hook me. Billy Magnuson being in this one, he was a little bit of a letdown. We are going to be honest on that one. And it's not that Billy Magnuson's like acting capabilities were the letdown. I think it was really more of the character. And that's sad that is how that was. They could have done so much more with this character, but instead he looks like this overeager child. And then it's like, oh, I'm really connected to who is actually the person who is our villain. It's just, I don't know. That one felt a little, there could have been more and it could have been handled better, but I don't know. I'm not sure that this one is based on a book. I think it's just, oh, we're basing it on the character of Bond, and this is where we've taken the story. I think that's really all there was to it. I think the current M is kind of whatever. I loved Judi Dench as M, so there is a little bit of that. But I feel like maybe if we're going to divert away from 007 and Bond altogether, I'd like to dig into M a little more, find a little bit more about M's backstory, considering it can change. Because I think all it needs is you just need to have a name that starts with the letter M, and then you can be called M. You know, simple enough. And I would also really like to know a little bit more about Q. I love Ben Whishaw as Q. Love him as Q. He's my favorite. All of the gadgets are always fun. He just makes Q a quirky character, and I just love Q. I think that's really all that I have as far as other characters that I didn't get to touch on in my review that I'm now touching on after NaNoWriMo is done. But full disclosure, this video was recorded before NaNoWriMo ever started, before I, forgot and got lost in my own characters. So that's it for me. If you like this video, please like, comment, and share. Feel free to leave comments below where we can talk about all this stuff, because it is fun to talk about. And I will see you next video. Bye. Don't